It's an honour and a pleasure.
Thank you.
I've invited members of our tribal council up here because I want you to know that I'm not speaking for me, I'm speaking for them. And I'm also speaking for them to ask you to come stand with us. So that's what we're here for. At the end of the day, it's one people, one country, one spirit, and that's what we've got to bring it back to. Now, we've travelled 6,000 kilometres to be here with you. We've covered most of the continent to pick up a lot of people from different regions, from the Western Desert, Central Desert, all the way up north, East Arnhem Land, West Arnhem Land. So it took a long time to get here, but it was worth the journey looking at all these beautiful faces. So we've come here for two reasons. One is yesterday we formally gathered in Glebe Park and formally made notice to the world that the returning sovereigns have in fact returned. Now, we never left. We were always here. We were just ignored and oppressed and genocided and ethnic cleansing, and the list goes on. But we're not here to talk about the negative, because we all know the negatives, both in what's up there, what's running this system, and the bad stuff that's going on. But we're here to talk about the positives and a way forward, because at the end of the day, there's no point raising a problem if we don't bring a solution. Now, the solution is not up there. The solution is not in their political realm. The solution is in the people, because we are the power, we are the resource, we are the commodity. Not their fictitious corporate laws or their artificial money or everything else that they've created to enslave us and keep us trapped. We are asking you to stand with us and walk free, because the simple fact remains, people, we can talk all day, but I'll keep it as simple as I can. We have to do this peacefully. We have to do this with honour. We have to do this in the most lawful, strongest standing we have. And although I fully stand and support our common law and our natural law and our tribal law, the reality is we are being governed under statute. If you read the US military document of war and occupation, it states very clear in there, statute overrides common law. So even though we're taking the truth to them, under common law and under natural law, and we're speaking fact and truth, and they can't rebut anything we're saying under common law, and they can't rebut anything we're saying under tribal law, but they simply ignore it because they have the guns and statute overrides common law. So where does that leave us? In the same document, it states the very same thing. The only thing that overrides statute is the returning sovereigns. Now, that's not an opinion, that's in their international law of war and occupation legal document. So that's the only lawful standing we have. When I said to Brother Dave, I've been preparing for this for 8 years, it's because I've seen that truth for the last 8 years. And I knew that the only way out of this is to wait for our white brothers and sisters to come and join us. Louder. So that's what we're here for. We're here to tell the world that the returning sovereigns have returned, okay? And we're taking back our self-determination, control over our lands. Now, when the people first arrived here and they traversed this land, a lot of them were perishing and dying. Our people kept them alive, not knowing that they were traversing the land to genocide us. But we still kept them alive, because under our law, it's the protection of everybody. It's the protection of the land. It's the protection of the water, the air, everything. Okay, that's what our law is. So we know that as the sovereigns, we can walk. We don't have to remain under this fictitious corporate entity. We can walk, and we're walking, right? But the problem we've got is there's 25 million people, and we've got a question. Do we want to afford the Australian people a legitimate place to step and have safety and security and protection under our sovereignty, or do we want to leave you under a corporate structure that's trying to genocide us all now? And our answer is, we're not going to leave you. We want you to walk with us to a healthy system that you own. Now, the detail in that needs to be worked out over time with all the beautiful minds we have on this continent, right? And we can do that pretty quick. We've already got models in place that people have worked on, constitutions that take the best of the 1900, taking consideration the sovereign position of the tribes, and we just need a base foundation to move forward. But the reality is, no government, no crown, no corporation on the planet can approve or give the Australian people a legitimate government structure. No one can. The only people that can legitimise any governance structure here is standing behind me, all right? That's just the fact. So we're not trying to drag people away from what they're used to. We just want to give you what you're used to under the protection of our sovereignty that you own, you develop, you are the decision makers on how that constitution or that governance structure, whatever you want to call it, I don't like the word government, but whatever you want to call that, we need something to manage our affairs or look after our decision making. So the process that we're talking about is what you're completely unused to, okay? It's completely the flip side of what you have now. What we are talking about is a system. Speak up.
Turn it up, Matt.
Matt, testing. Matt.
Give it all you got.
It wasn't working.
Okay, is that better? Okay, so just to repeat, what we want to offer you is a structure and a system that you're used to, that you control, that you develop, that you evolve. Not a system, a corporate system owned by foreign powers that's oppressing us. We want to afford the Australian people a legitimate governance structure that you will develop with us working together. We have wonderful models on the planet where sovereign law and Westminster law or common law has married up, and it works very well. We got enough intelligence on this land to put that together real easy, all right? But the one thing we got is a common cause to walk to freedom, a common cause to stand together united to stop this tyranny, to stop the genocide, and to ensure that our future generations have somewhere healthy to live. Now, for the record, I want to clear something. A lot of people say if the sovereigns take back their land, we're going to lose our house. We're going to get kicked out. It's the opposite. We want to free your debt. We want you to enjoy your dwelling. And all the differences and issues that we need to work out, we work out in a healthy way going forward. So no one is displaced, no one is left homeless, no one is starving, no one is suffering, and then we can work a way forward. But right now, staying where we are, they're stripping everything. All your homes mean nothing, all right? They've already signed it over to the bankers, they're taking everything. They're stripping the middle class, they're taking everyone's wealth because they're bankrupt, they've got nothing to stand on. Well, we got something to stand on. We got our munda to stand on, all right? And with our munda comes the law that can protect you. Together we can set up a system that's based on truth, honour and respect, and that's the only way forward. Dave mentioned my father asked me to, and Uncle Juma. This is Uncle Juma, everybody. Now, me and Uncle Juma spent some time with my father, Jala Guruwiwi. He is the water holder for the planet. He sings the water for the planet from all corners of the planet. He is the Yidaki healer. That's his Yidaki on the $1 coin. He sings for all of us. He has given us a mission to come and unite all the tribal people and unite the tribal people with the non-tribal people to take back control of this land, to protect the water, because the water holds our DNA, all right? The water is life, and if we don't protect the water, all right, we're all done. So he's asked us to come and unite you to stand together to build something healthy that protects the land and looks after the land, because when we look after the water, we look after these little ones' futures, right? Now we talk about unifying. We talk about unifying. A lot of these might be out. I've just crossed paths in the last 2 weeks collecting and driving down here. Right? There are two colours here. This white band and this red band in our law never come together. Never in the history of our culture and our law. They are together. If they can stand together, we can stand together. And if we can stand together, we don't need to ask them. People keep saying they're not going to give it up. There's nothing to give up. It's the trapment, the mind trap, okay, the spiritual trap that they have us entrapped within this corporate structure. It's the illusion of we must be under this. But we're saying, no, we're going this way, and we're asking them, do you want to come? It's that simple. We're going to be putting out, we did a documentary, a short doco called Wittichin. We're working with some amazing filmmakers who put that out. We're going to put out the solution as well, very soon. The solution is everything I'm talking about in a bit more detailed layout, so you can see the visual, you can hear it, and you can understand it. So we are not here to bring the solution to you right here today, okay? Even though the long-term solution is this. Whoever thought we'd all be standing in front of you talking about this right now today? Now, just so you understand, on this stage alone, we cover from Tiwi Islands, Lakaranupi, down to Latakia, Darwin, out to East Arnhem Land, all of the East Arnhem Land region, across to West Arnhem, the West Arnhem region, down to Borroloola, down to Warramunga and Tennant Creek, right down to Arundel, Nulla Springs, out to the Western Desert, to Kintor, Warrakuna, Docker River, just shy of Perth, the whole Western Desert. There is over 2/3 of the country probably standing on this stage right now representing the land. So when my bosses and my lawmen go back and talk to family and tell them about their great journey here, standing with all you brothers and sisters in unity, that will go through the entire tribal community within a couple of days, and it already has, because they're sending the message. We are one people, one country, one spirit. And that's why you have to bring it back to. So these leaders have already spoken to people back home, and we have already initiated the conversation around calling a large sovereign gathering in the centre, location to be decided, but we're going to gather in the centre very soon, and we're inviting every sovereign on the planet. We're inviting our Māori brothers and sisters. We're inviting all the sovereigns of the planet to come and stand with us under this law, all right, and unite, because 2/3 of the planet were invaded. 2/3 of the planet were invaded by the English, and they're all tribal sovereign nations, and we're calling on them to come and unite, and let's protect 2/3 of the planet and work the other third out later, right? But the reality is, we can't do it without you, you can't do it without us. Comes a time where we've got to put our differences aside, the stuff we can work out later, right? Even if we want to punch it on, look, I'd rather punch it on as a free man than a slave. Right? So we're calling that gathering, it's a global sovereign gathering, because not that it matters what he said, but the Pope did say, in 2017, the only hope for the planet is Indigenous sovereignty. And the reason being is because we don't have a contract. We don't have an agreement. All the treaties that have been done in Canada, America, with our Māori brothers and sisters in New Zealand, all those treaties are null and void. They're all done on fraud and deception. So their sovereign position is our sovereign position, and we want to unite with all our brothers and sisters, and not just the tribal sovereigns of the planet. We want the non-tribal sovereigns of the planet to come as well. The reason being is there's multiple layers of DNA, seven strands of DNA. They tested everyone. The older the strand, the older the race. The highest came in at 4, that was the Africans. They tested our mob from the desert, and they had all 7 strands. That means that everything was birthed from here. Uncle Juma could, actually I'm going to ask Uncle Juma to share an amazing story with you all right? Because he's going to tell you where it all started for you when you left this land for the promised lands, right? And this is full cycle, right? Because my original, sorry, I don't like to use that word, that was a slip. My original blood to this country is my closest reminder of my Scottish and Irish blood, where they were once connected to the land. Because at some point, we were all practicing this law, okay? Over time, we lost it. Over time, all the things that transitioned took that away. Well, this is our greatest reminder of who you are. Off the back of this, we want to heal as a nation. We want to open up our culture and bring people through and connect them, not just back to our culture, but back to the land, which is back to you. And that's what we want to do off this. This is not about just taking power away from a fictitious corporation harming us. It's about creating something magical where we can walk together and heal together. I'm gonna pass it over to Uncle Juma.